everybody, it is me Leo and welcome back to another video. So today we're back with another speed build, and this time we're building a house called the Modern Japanese Mansion. So this home has 3 bedrooms and only 1.5 bathrooms. So I know that might be a little bit small for many people's standards, especially in the West, but I feel like from Japanese standards, this is already a pretty substantial home, because let's not forget, in Japan, so many people live in tiny homes and even more teeny tiny apartments. So having this kind of house, I feel like is already pretty substantial. That's why I feel like it's okay to call it a mansion. So I built this home for a relatively wealthy business owner and their small family. And I imagine this house to be built somewhere in the outskirts of Kyoto. So it's still kind of like in the urban city area, but not really in the really dense part of the city. So I feel like it really fits. This house is really unique because it's pretty much built around a courtyard, and most of the windows actually face towards the inside, or face towards a courtyard or something. Oh my gosh, there's a motorcycle outside my house. I'm so sorry for all that noise, but anyway, yeah, most of the windows that face outside actually don't face directly outside, they face towards a courtyard. So I feel like that's pretty interesting. It was also quite a challenge because building this around a courtyard was pretty different from how I normally do my builds. So I kind of have to be creative and kind of like I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Just kind of approach this a little bit differently from how I normally build my houses, but I think it came out really well in the end. I did want to go for something that was kind of traditional but also really modern as well. And pretty much for this whole entire build, I really wanted to explore that main theme of contrast, specifically the contrast between modern and traditional. There is a train outside my house right now, so if you guys are bothered by that, I apologize. If I didn't do this recording right now, I probably wouldn't be able to do it anytime today, so I just want to get this build up as soon as possible for you guys. I literally just finished this like 30 minutes ago, and I was just like really quickly editing the video so that I can get it up for you guys, because I really want to get these up during the weekends. So yeah, anyway, apologies if you guys can hear all of the traffic outside, but anyway, like I was saying, for this build I really wanted to explore that contrast between modern and traditional, and pretty much in terms of aesthetic, I think the build is quite modern, but in terms of like the intangible aspects, I think it's got a more traditional feel. Like, I don't know, like it looks really modern but it feels really traditional, and that's what I was kind of going for. A lot of the aspects of this build are actually really similar to a build I did a couple of weeks ago. It was my modern minimalist house, but I just had to be smart with my choices. It was pretty subtle. I didn't want to go all the way like really cliche Japanese, because I noticed some people have a tendency to do that. I wanted it to be quite subtle in a way, so I just had to make really smart choices with this one. That's why it took me quite a while to actually build this. But yeah, this house has a lot of traditional spaces that are really unique to Japanese traditional architecture, but these spaces are also found in modern contemporary Japanese homes. such as, let's see, tatami rooms. There's actually quite a couple in this build. There's one tatami ceremonial room, and then I think all of the bedrooms actually have tatami in them as well. I'm going to be talking more about that later on as we go on, but you guys can see me kind of add a little bit of depth and interest to the exterior because I felt like it was really flat, since it really didn't have many windows and stuff facing outside. I wanted to at least play a little bit with the shape. That's why I'm doing this little technique over here that I've also done in my modern minimalist villa, where I use these tiles from Spa Day to kind of make this like half level roof area type of thing. It looks really nice. I feel like having like these flat roofs, it's so Japanese. I knew that I wanted to have completely flat roofs in this build. Like I said, I was trying to avoid that really cliche kind of like stereotypical quote unquote modern Japanese house where it's I don't know, I've seen so many of those and like I don't know, they just don't look effortless. I feel like there's a tendency that modern Japanese homes, or even just Japanese homes in general, could tend to be overworked. I've seen a lot of those in the community, but I feel like the essence of Japanese architecture is really in its simplicity and in its ease. So I wanted to capture that. It's really hard to explain it now that I'm thinking about it, but yeah, I just wanted it to be really easy and really formal. Yeah, I think formal's the term that I was looking for. Holy crap, there was something that fell like on my neighbor's floor. I hope they're okay. That was quite loud. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Anyway, I've done this in most of my recent builds, but the entire outside is only one paint. It's only like this white paint. I'm using the Pure Expressions wall paint again. I always use that all the time, I noticed, but it looks really awesome. I tried adding some wood accents, but once again, I felt like that was pushing it a little bit because I did want it to look really easy and laid back. Not really laid back, but really easy and well thought out and well planned out. So this is what I came up with. And yeah, these really large wooden windows actually open up to courtyards. So I thought that was really interesting as well. But yeah, I think pretty much most of the exterior is done at this point. These two rooms right here are going to be the 2 bedrooms, and then there's another bedroom downstairs, but it looks like it's time to actually work on the interior. I think I placed a couple more doors actually. But yeah, I just tried to keep it really modern and also really traditional as well. So you couldn't really say specifically like whether it's modern or traditional, and I really wanted to achieve that balance of both, 50-50. But this room that we're working on right now is called a genkan. This is a traditional Japanese room that's also found in many Japanese homes, and it is basically the main entrance foyer type area where people who are visiting the house or people who are entering the house take off their shoes and wear slippers, because in many Asian cultures people go barefoot inside their homes. We also do that in my country as well. In the Philippines, we also go barefoot, and we leave most of our footwear like on the porch outside. Oh, actually no, we're not furnishing the genkan right now. We're actually furnishing, or I should say decorating, this courtyard pond area, which is my favorite aspect of this build. I'm doing something really unique here. I am using a mod to put like actual koi, like animated koi in the game, in this little pond area. And since I'm using a mod, once again, I will be uploading 2 versions of this build on the gallery. One version with koi in the pond, which is considered custom content, and one version without koi, which is not considered custom content. So you guys have a choice on which one you prefer. I would go for the koi one. I only use one piece of custom content, and that is the effect player by Andrew Studio. I will actually link that down in the description below for those of you guys who are interested in that. But I was so happy with how this kind of like courtyard area came out. Landscaping wise, it was pretty dense and quite elaborate. I really took my time to do like this naturalistic but also artificial landscaping. So I sized down a lot of the trees. I wanted them to look like bonsais. I really love them, especially like the white flower trees that came with cats and dogs. I really love how they looked sized down. They look so legit. My dad actually works for a Japanese company, and he has this hobby where he makes bonsais, and let me tell you guys, there's dozens of bonsais in our house. And I remember growing up, we used to make little, I don't want to say terrariums, but they're kind of like these little little kind of habitats with like mini waterfalls and mini ponds and stuff. That brought back so many memories. So I kind of wanted to echo that little bit of personal experience in my design for the courtyard as well. But yes, right now we are furnishing the genkan. I've pretty much talked most about this. What am I even saying? Brain fart. Yeah, for this part of the house, I pretty much talked about it like a couple of minutes ago before I talked about the courtyard. So yeah, it's kind of like the main entrance area. I kept it really simple. There's literally nothing in it. There's also like no function to this other than to be the main entrance. So yeah, there's just a couple of shelves for the shoes, and also like a little bench as well for people to sit in. But this room right here is kind of like the ceremonial room, I have to say. Earlier on, you guys probably saw me struggle with making these tatami patterns. If you guys didn't know, tatami is a kind of mat made out of reeds. And it's this rectangular mat that they lay out on the floor, and there's a really specific layout that you have to follow, because if you don't, you might end up with something that brings you bad luck. So I was really careful with laying out the tatami mats to make sure that they're the good luck layout. But basically, for the good luck layout, all of the edges have to form a T shape. So all of like the black edges have to form like a T shape. And then the bad luck one, I think, is when it forms a cross shape. So that's something that you have to avoid. Yeah, this room actually works fine. Those little itty bitty fences actually work really well with this because they don't block the Sims path or anything. I also discovered this really interesting lamp. I don't use it in the end because I felt like that was pushing it a little bit. It's the one to the left of the screen, but it looks really good. It looked really Japanesey, but I didn't feel like it was right for this build because I felt like it was a little bit too outrageous because it was really big and all that stuff. So I just take it out and switch it out with a plant instead. But I put this little thing. I saw one of my friends, Pineapple, do this in her Japanese builds. She uploaded it like last week, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do that. That is so awesome. So thanks, Penelope, for that. And I'm stealing it. I'm literally just stealing it. But yeah, I really enjoyed that room. It's probably the most traditional of all the rooms. I'd like to call it a tea ceremony room, but I think a ceremonial room would be just as appropriate for that. There's really no function for it, but I don't know. I thought that having it would kind of carry forward that theme of, you know, that dichotomy between modernity and traditionalism. Which I do feel like the Japanese do so well. I feel like they do it better than most cultures, you know, mixing their traditional with modernity, because the Japanese are, you know, some of the most wealthiest people, and they're like the third largest economy or something like that. So they're pretty progressive, you know, but they're also really traditional, and that just amazes me. You know, despite being one of the wealthiest countries in the world, Japan also has its social problems, and one of it is actually its aging population. Many Japanese youth nowadays just don't like to have kids because they're more concerned about other things like their careers and stuff. So that's kind of reflected in this build a little bit, because at this point, I imagine the people staying here to be like an elderly couple who are successful business people, and their kid has already moved out of their home, but they don't have any grandchildren. So they're the only ones who live in this home. So there's like this aspect of loneliness. They don't have any grandchildren. Their kid lives away from them. I imagine like a successful career already. So they're just, you know, they're just by themselves living here. So that's also like what I was thinking as I was designing this. But this room right here is probably the more modern out of all the rooms in the house, because it's got this pretty modern open floor plan. Traditional Japanese architecture, it has these partitions called shoji or fusuma. The shoji ones are just the plain paper ones. The fusuma ones are the ones that have paintings on them, but traditionally they could be removed to make the rooms larger or to make the rooms smaller. So the space has this modularity aspect to it. So I felt like that was really interesting to have. I wish we had like some actual sliding doors that go to the side, but we don't. Yeah, disappointed. But I would have loved to have those, because I would have really liked to incorporate that modularity to Japanese homes. But anyway, I was really happy with this open floor plan area. It actually looks really Japanese. I also kind of like tried to tone it down a little bit, especially with the clutter. And for the color scheme, I actually used so many different colors of wood. Usually in my builds, I try to be consistent. There's a really loud motorcycle outside my house. I'm so sorry, you guys. I am so sorry. But usually in my builds, I try to match all of the wood. If I use a dark wood, everything would be dark wood. If I use a light wood, everything would be light wood. For this particular build, I just kind of decided to use different colors, and surprisingly, they actually look harmoniously. Also, in the kitchen area, you guys probably saw I added like a little corkboard with travel postcards. I really like that. So yeah, that's one of the things that this couple does, is that even though they're quite lonely living in this relatively large home by themselves, they do travel quite a bit. So that's their one little escape. So yeah, I wanted this build to have like some aspect of melancholy, if you guys get what I mean. You know, it's like the glory days are gone, even though they're like really prosperous. The future is still pretty uncertain. Also, for this build, I tried to avoid doing the thing with these counter cabinets. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. There's a train passing by. I'm so sorry, you guys. It's probably really annoying. I try to record when it's not running, but I just had to do this right now because I got a lot of things planned after this one. So anyway, like I was saying, in the bedroom, I tried to avoid the thing with like the counter cabinets that I've done in my previous builds. It's where I use the counter cabinets to be the headboards. So I just kept it really nice and simple. I really like how the master bedroom came out as well. There's also a little office area and a walk-in closet in the master bedroom, but I had to cut it out because the footage I got was getting a little bit long. So right now we are working on the one and only full bathroom in this house. And for this bathroom, I went really traditional. So basically, Japanese bathrooms are actually subdivided into different areas. So usually it's subdivided into 3 different areas. There's this one main kind of like entrance area, which is where people would usually go to change. This also where people would go to do laundry. And then there's this other area that actually is where the bath takes place. So it usually has a bathtub or a shower or both. And then there is a separate area that has the toilet as well. So I wanted to keep that traditional aspect for this bathroom. In many homes, Japanese homes, they don't even have baths. In Japanese culture today, it's still very common for people to go to bathhouses and, take baths in public baths. It's still a very important part of Japanese culture. That's why, having just one bath for this build wasn't really that big of a deal. Because in some homes, especially in like really compact, tight spaces like apartments, people don't even have baths. So yeah. Anyway, this right here is the guest bedroom, and I didn't intend to have tatami in these 2 rooms upstairs, but I just really liked it, so I was like, you know what? Why not? So once again, I just tried to go for something that was kind of modern, but also kind of traditional, like kind of in between. I think that the mix of the 2 is quite nice and poetic, if I do say so myself. So yeah, I really liked it. I also really love kind of like the fleshy beige colors. I don't know why, it just looks so Japanesey. Also, those blinds that came with, I think it was my first pet stuff or laundry day stuff, one of those. They are a lifesaver. I used them all throughout this build and they really completed the look actually. So I'm really happy with those blinds, even though I probably wasn't happy with whichever stuff pack they came with. Anyway, so for the guest bedroom, I just tried to keep it as simple as possible. This bedroom right here is supposed to be for the kid's bedroom, but like I said earlier, the kid has already left, the kid has already grown up, but the kid still hasn't had children yet. So that's that. Did I mention that the Japanese have like one of the world's longest life expectancies? Yeah, they also do that. I don't know, that was just a random thought. But I was really happy that I was able to do some tatami in this room as well. But the couple that lives here, they just pretty much kept the space as it is for when their child, comes home once in a while to visit. He would usually stay here. I also imagine the child to be really into music as well. So there is a piano. That's a pretty typical piece of furniture actually, the organ. It's a pretty typical piece of furniture for many Asian homes because having a child learn piano, it's like a status symbol for many Asian families. Also, many Japanese, traditionally the Japanese would actually sleep on the floor, in their futons. But in most Japanese homes, they do have beds, but a lot of people still sleep on the floor actually. So I feel like having tatami would actually be pretty comfortable. I would have said, if you really wanted to have that authentic experience, I would have said to make your Sims sleep in sleeping bags, because that also kind of looks like a futon. But now that I think about it, I don't think we have sleeping bags on The Sims 4. I don't think we do. disappointed. Anyway, so this is the last little bit that we're gonna be furnishing. The rest of the courtyards, there's one in the master bedroom and there's another one like next to the living room. I furnished it off camera because it's pretty much the same anyway, but yeah, this one has like some sand. I really like it, and also a little fountain as well. And for the landscaping, I kept it really dense because I wanted to contrast with all of the geometric lines on the interior and just of the architecture of the house itself. So I just kind of made it really nice and, you know, traditional looking. So it looks like that is pretty much it for this build. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up my commentary right here. I hope you guys had fun watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed enough to help support the channel by sharing the video and subscribing to the channel, and also leaving a like and a comment will be very much appreciated as well, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. You all have an awesome day. Enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.